The Boeing F-47, often referred to as the centerpiece of America's next-generation air dominance program, has become one of the most intriguing and closely watched aircraft projects of the 21st century. It represents not just another fighter jet, but a total rethinking of how the United States Air Force plans to secure the skies in the coming decades. While many details remain classified, enough information has been revealed, analyzed, and speculated upon by defense experts that we can begin to paint a clear picture of what this aircraft means for the future of aerial combat. And in this review, we're going to dive into every angle of the F-47, from its design philosophy to its potential battlefield role, and try to answer the question, is this really the most powerful warplane America has ever conceived? To begin with, the F-47 is not just a replacement for the legendary F-22 Raptor, even though that is the role it will inherit in terms of air superiority. The NGAD program is designed to be a system of systems, meaning the F-47 isn't a single jet operating in isolation, but a hub in a larger combat network. Think of it less like a lone fighter and more like the quarterback of an entire digital battlefield, guiding drones, integrating with satellites, and even coordinating with ground and naval forces in real time. This makes it more than just a plane, it's an ecosystem of dominance. The first thing that sets the F-47 apart is its emphasis on sixth-generation technology. Where fifth-generation fighters like the F-35 and F-22 were all about stealth, sensors, and data fusion, the F-47 pushes those boundaries further. It is expected to feature adaptive cycle engines, which can shift performance modes depending on mission requirements. That means the pilot can call upon massive thrust when speed and power are necessary, or switch into a more efficient mode when long-range cruising is the priority. Imagine being able to cover vast distances across the Pacific, then instantly ramp into high-performance dogfighting mode without losing efficiency. This adaptability will be a game-changer for operations that require both stealthy penetration and long endurance. Stealth itself will be on another level. The F-22 and F-35 already made radar invisibility a cornerstone of their design, but the F-47 is believed to push that concept with new radar-absorbent materials, shape-shifting contours, and even active stealth systems that can electronically manipulate signatures. In other words, the jet may not just avoid radar, it may actively confuse it. Combine that with advanced infrared suppression and acoustic dampening, and we are looking at a platform that could slip through contested environments virtually undetected. Weapons systems are another area where the F-47 will shine. While specifics are obviously classified, reports suggest the jet will feature both internal weapons bays to preserve stealth and external hardpoints that can be used when stealth isn't required. Beyond conventional missiles, there is strong speculation that directed energy weapons, lasers or microwave systems, could become part of its arsenal. These wouldn't just be used for offensive strikes but also defensive purposes, such as shooting down incoming missiles before they can reach the aircraft. This could make the F-47 one of the hardest jets in history to actually bring down in combat. One of the most futuristic aspects of the F-47 is its integration with autonomous systems. The NGAD program emphasizes what are being called loyal wingmen, unmanned combat drones that can fly alongside the fighter. The F-47 pilot will effectively command a squadron of robotic allies that can scout ahead, jam enemy radar, or even carry weapons to strike targets. This changes the calculus of aerial warfare dramatically. Instead of one jet facing an adversary, it could be one jet commanding half a dozen unmanned drones, overwhelming defenses and multiplying firepower. The cockpit, too, is expected to be revolutionary. Gone are the traditional instrument panels covered in buttons and switches. Instead, the F-47 is rumored to use augmented reality helmets that project all mission data directly into the pilot's field of view. That means instant access to radar feeds, targeting data, drone status, and even satellite information without ever glancing down. Combined with AI co-pilots that can handle secondary tasks, the human pilot will be free to focus on big-picture decision-making. Essentially, it turns the F-47 into a flying command center where man and machine are seamlessly integrated. When it comes to performance, while exact numbers are classified, analysts expect the F-47 to push the envelope far beyond the F-22. Hypersonic dash speeds may be possible, though most experts think it will top out at the high supersonic range with unmatched maneuverability. What seems almost certain is extreme range, since specific operations demand fighters that can travel thousands of miles without relying too heavily on tankers. This is particularly crucial for countering China in the Indo-Pacific theater, where long distances across open ocean are the norm. Now, no review would be complete without comparisons. The F-22 Raptor, once the crown jewel of American air dominance, is still considered the most lethal dogfighter in the world today. But it's aging, and its stealth coatings, avionics, and engines are 2 decades old. The F-35 Lightning II, while highly advanced, is more of a multi-role aircraft than a pure air superiority fighter. Meanwhile, competitors like China's J-20 and Russia's Su-57 are rapidly improving, and by the 2030s, they could threaten to match 5th-generation capabilities. The F-47 exists to leapfrog all of these challengers, maintaining a clear technological edge for the United States. Critics will argue that cost could be the Achilles heel. The F-22 was so expensive that production was cut short, leaving the Air Force with fewer than 200 airframes. The F-35, while produced in greater numbers, has faced years of controversy over spiraling costs and software issues. Early estimates suggest the F-47 could cost hundreds of millions per aircraft, making it potentially the most expensive fighter jet ever built. This raises questions about whether the US can afford to deploy it in meaningful numbers, or whether it will remain a boutique capability reserved for only the most critical missions. But if you consider its role as part of a broader NGAD ecosystem, the price may be justified. Remember, the F-47 is not just a jet, it's a command platform. With drones carrying out much of the riskier frontline work, fewer manned aircraft may actually be required. The money saved on pilot training, maintenance, and attrition could balance out the higher cost per unit. In essence, the F-47 may be expensive individually, but strategically efficient as part of a larger system. Looking at the bigger picture, the F-47 represents a philosophical shift. Air dominance is no longer just about who has the fastest jet or the most missiles. It's about information, integration, and adaptability. In modern warfare, victory goes to the side that can see first, decide first, and act first. The F-47 is being built around exactly that principle. Its sensors, stealth, and eye systems are designed to compress the decision loop to milliseconds, ensuring that American pilots can outthink and outmaneuver their opponents before the fight even begins. From a reviewer's perspective, the F-47 inspires both awe and caution. On one hand, it is a breathtaking leap forward in aerospace technology, combining stealth, power, autonomy, and digital warfare into a single platform. On the other hand, it embodies the challenges of modern defense spending and the risks of putting too much faith in technology that remains largely untested in real combat. Will it truly live up to the hype, or will it face the same growing pains that have plagued other advanced programs? Only time will tell. For now, though, it's safe to say that the Boeing F-47 NGAD is shaping up to be the most ambitious fighter jet in US history. It's more than just the next plane, it's the next era of air dominance. Whether it eventually enters service in large numbers or not, its influence is already reshaping military aviation and forcing rivals to rethink their strategies. And that alone makes it one of the most important aircraft of our time. The story of the Boeing F-47 is also the story of how America envisions the next generation of warfare. To really appreciate its significance, you have to look back at how air dominance has evolved. In the Second World War, control of the skies came from numbers, from swarms of aircraft overwhelming the enemy. In the Cold War, it shifted to speed and altitude, with jets like the State Route 71 Blackbird and the F-15 Eagle defining what it meant to own the skies. By the late 20th century, stealth became the ultimate trump card, and the F-117, F-22, and later the F-35 solidified America's lead. But now the battlefield has changed again. It's no longer enough to simply be invisible. You must also be connected, adaptive, and able to operate seamlessly across land, sea, air, space, and cyber domains. The F-47 is built for exactly that world. Imagine a future battle over the vast Pacific. Instead of a handful of fighters squaring off in a dogfight, you have swarms of drones, long-range hypersonic missiles, cyber attacks launched in real time, and satellites feeding constant streams of data to commanders. In that chaos, the F-47 doesn't just survive, it thrives. Its AI systems can process information at lightning speed, filtering out noise and presenting the pilot with only the most critical details. It can jam enemy sensors while hiding its own presence, coordinate with drones to flank targets, and even deploy directed energy weapons to neutralize incoming missiles before they get close. This is the vision behind the NGAD concept, not one plane fighting another, but a fully integrated system ensuring American dominance from every angle. One of the fascinating aspects of the F-47 is its potential for modularity. Defense insiders suggest that instead of being locked into a single design for decades, as we saw with the F-22, the F-47 may be built with swappable systems. That means sensors, weapons packages, and even parts of its airframe could be upgraded rapidly as technology advances. In theory, this could extend its life far longer than past fighters, because instead of waiting 20 years for a whole new airframe, the Air Force could evolve the F-47 continuously, almost like how smartphones receive software updates and occasional hardware refreshes. This flexibility could keep the aircraft at the cutting edge for an entire generation. Another detail worth reviewing is how the F-47 fits into the geopolitical environment. The Indo-Pacific region is now considered the world's most critical theater for air power, and China's rapid development of advanced fighters, long-range missiles, and integrated air defense networks poses the most serious challenge America has faced in decades. The Chinese J-20 stealth fighter